October 1st, 2025. It is 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I welcome you all back to another episode of War Notes. I am your host, Pavio G, your harbor of voice in troubled times. Today, we face a watershed moment. The federal government has officially shut down as of 12:01 a.m. today. We will walk you through what's affected, who's hurting, and how ordinary Americans can steady themselves in uncertainty. Stick with me. There's comfort, clarity, and a hidden word for the diligent listener before we close. Let's begin in less than 10 seconds. Thank you all for being here. Here is the stark reality as we start today. At 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the U.S. government entered a shutdown after Congress failed to pass funding legislation for fiscal year 2026, according to the Washington Post and one other reputable source. The Senate, unable to agree on a clean continuing resolution, saw Republicans struggle for Democratic support. Key bills failed. As a result, non-essential federal services are going dark. Up to 750,000 federal workers may be furloughed, while tens of thousands more will be forced to work without immediate pay. The Department of Health and Human Services plans to furlough 41% of its staff. CDC, NIH, and public health operations will be dramatically scaled back. In aviation, the FAA may furlough around 11,000 workers, yet critical roles like air traffic control and TSA will remain operational. But many of those will work without pay. Credit rating agencies are sounding alarms. Europe's scope warns this shutdown and the broader political instability is weighing negatively on the U.S. credit outlook. Now, the White House has ordered agencies to prepare for potential permanent layoffs, not just temporary furloughs, marking a sharp departure from past practices. Already, political rhetoric is heating. HUD's website posted a banner blaming the, quote, radical left, end quote, for the shutdown, escalating partisan messaging in federal domains. Finally, in polls, a majority of Americans oppose a shutdown. Over 65% say leaders should avoid it even without getting all they want. Federal operations will continue for essential services. As of 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you folks who are just joining in our radio broadcast, the government has shut down as of 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, federal operations will continue for essential services. Think national defense, think border security, emergency response, social security payments, so forth. But delays, resource gaps, and slowdowns are inevitable, even in those sectors. That's according to the U.S. Representative, Amy Berra. Now, this is not a distant drama. It's your government's mechanisms paused, your safety net in limbo, to make it clear. We're going to look at this at a human angle in less than 10 seconds when we return. And I thank you all for being here. If you haven't yet subscribed, please take the time to do so. It is free to do. Again, I am Pavio G, your host. We'll be back in 10 seconds. Now, folks, I want you to picture a family whose home relies on a federal housing program. The checks, scheduled, precise C's. A doctor involved in federally funded research sees projects frozen. The small business owner with a government contract finds payments delayed. The young veteran awaiting VA benefit updates faces lengthy waits. In one small town, a federal worker's spouse called me. Well, she didn't call me, but she emailed me. But we talked. She said we budget to the dime. A week or two without pay could be the difference between groceries and a blackout. That's sad to know. In these local moments, the abstract becomes real, right? The promise of stability phrase. Later on in this broadcast, I will revisit a key phrase from that paragraph, and it hides tonight's hidden word. We will return in less than 10 seconds with a little bit of comfort and some coping tips that may help you all as my radio listeners. Again, I thank you all for being here. We'll be back in less than 10 seconds. Now we go over to your hearth. In moments of institutional breakdown, personal anchors carry weight. First, I want you all to revisit your budget. This is just personal advice that I have for you all as my listeners. Revisit your budget. Cut non-essential expenses now. Delay discretionary purchases until the landscape clears. Second, tap savings cautiously. If you have emergency funds, use them, but protect what you can. Third of all, communicate with folks. If you're a federal worker or contractor, talk to your lender, landlord, or service providers. Many will offer hardship options indeed. Number 4, make sure that you stay informed, but limit stress. The news will be heavy, but step away when your mind needs some rest. You don't have to hear it all day, every day. Finally, serve your community if you can, and you're able physically to do so. Those around you may suffer too, so share your groceries. Lend a hand if you're able to. I know some folks are not able to, but lend a hand if you're able to, and check on your neighbors if you can. The small acts of kindness, they do indeed sustain the human fabric when big systems buckle. When we return in less than 10 seconds, we'll go over the hidden word, and we'll talk a little bit about something extra that I got up my sleeve for you all. We'll return in 10 minutes. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you all subscribe and do so. I'll be back in 10 seconds to start to soon finish up our daily broadcast. Thank you all for listening. Now, listeners, I want you all to lean in. Today's hidden word is nestled in what I described about the system's pause versus your daily life. Now, here's your clue. Quote, listen carefully. The hidden word is what you lean on when the structures fail. Subtle, resilient, often unseen until tested, end quote. And your riddle for today is, quote, I build strength from your belief, though I leave no footprints. I am silent, yet I carry weight. What am I? End quote. Now, I want you all to hold these ideas. We'll reveal the answers just before closing. We'll be back in 10 seconds to our story of the day. Now, earlier, folks, I spoke of the promise of stability and how it phrased. And small acts of kindness sustain the human fabric. That phrase, quote, human fabric, end quote, resonates deeply today in this broadcast. The hidden word is fabric. Fabric. Just as fabric weaves threads into strength, so do communities. Values and people hold the seams of society when institutions, when they slip. And for the riddle, the answer is faith. Belief that carries all the time I shall say myself, my personal experience, belief that carries when structures falter, silent but weighty. So the hidden word for today is fabric. F is in Frank, A, B is in boy, R, I, C. And the answer for today's riddle is faith. F is in Frank, AITH, faith. Now, if you caught fabric during today's show, please make sure that you send it and email me now to bwtbgroup@gmail.com so you can enter for today's gift drawing. Every day I'm starting to get emails now, and I'm starting to try to send out some things. So I want you all to get a piece of the pie. We'll come back for a little bit of, quote, fireside reflection in less than 10 seconds, and we'll be finishing up our daily broadcast very shortly. Thank you all for sticking in here with me. We sit now in this soft glow, letting the crackle of this radio be our companion. And shutdown systems stall, but the human spirit need not. Compassion, solidarity, voice, these stay alive when lights go out. Now, for today's shout out, you got Angela in Columbus, Ohio, who listens every evening with her children. Angela, hold them tight. Things will get better. You got Marcus over there in Denver, Colorado, a federal contractor. He's waiting on payments right now. He's having issues with that. Your patience is seen, Mr. Marcus. And with that being said, we are woven together in this moment. And may your thread remain strong. I thank you all for being here with another episode of War Notes. And the hidden word again was fabric. Type it now in an email to bwtbgroup@gmail.com to qualify for today's free gift drawing. I'll announce the winner at the start of our next broadcast. Until then, hold fast to kindness. Make sure that you lean on your faith, protect your home, and keep your voice alive. I'm your host, Pavio G, bidding you peace in the quiet storm. Have a good day, and may strength thread through you always.